which brings us to Kobe. And listen, I wonder what you think, Tim. Yeah, I saw you shaking your head when I said, if you got to choose a guy to have back, both very talented, both being first round guys, and both Jet and Kobe are, the guy you got to have back is Kobe. He's you got to. I mean, he just fills more holes for you if he comes back if you're Michigan.
Yeah. I think he'll come back. I'm fairly confident he will. I think that he idolizes Juwan. I think he loves his teammates and his coaches. But I think the key is mom and dad. I think that's a very unique education based, character based family that really understands the big picture, the longevity of this thing. That they see that Kobe has star potential as a player, but I believe they look at him as more than just a ball player. I can imagine Kobe's mom and dad having serious conversations about, okay, what's the deal with this B minus that you got in history? Like, that's not acceptable. I think they hold him to a much higher standard than most ball players. And I think Jet's that way too. I think his parents have done an amazing job on both of their boys. But I do think that Kobe sees the long term, and he was just kind of figuring out how to be a star this year.
He was.
He doesn't have it yet, to do it every game. But he had some stretches where you thought, okay, this is going to be good. And I talked to Calbert Chaney not long ago. I think he's with the Pacers, and we talked a little bit about star treatment, how you become a star, because I sort of they're different players. Calbert Chaney's a lot bigger. He played at Indiana, for those that don't know, but they're both lefties, and Calbert was so skinny, and I really enjoyed watching him learn how to take over games. I think that that's the next step for Kobe. And this may sound crazy because I'm the biggest Hunter Dickinson fan, but it wouldn't shock me if he came back and Kobe became the go-to guy. If he could become the star of this team, and if that were to happen, why can't Michigan win a Big Ten next year?
Well, look, it's this college basketball, not present company, not intended to offend, is a guards game. Yeah.
No
You
doubt.
you go where your guards take you. Used to be a big fella game. Used to be for Kobe. And I look back over the course of the season. You are so right, Tim. At the beginning of the year, he wasn't ready to be what he eventually became. And frankly, they weren't asking him to be. You got Jalen Llewellyn there. And in retrospect, if they knew then what they know now, maybe you say, all right, Jalen, you're playing second field. We're getting Kobe ready. And so you're starting to maybe force feed that a little bit earlier in the season. They would have been better off for it. I'm not criticizing, because you do go with your veteran guy in Jalen Llewellyn, but if we start off next year and Jalen Llewellyn's back, man, hey dude, my Kobe is the guy that is once we get into half court, Kobe's the setup man. He is the guy in the two-man game. He is the guy making things go. And this is if I'm him, what I'm looking at is he's on some first round boards. I know that all these talk to scouts, talk to coaches from other Big Ten teams. They're saying it is seeming like things are solidifying him as a late first round pick. But Kobe, if I'm him, I'm looking at it saying, man, I got more tools in the kit. I defend, I shoot, I can be a setup guy. I'm better than some of the guys they have on the board ahead of me right now. I think that's the case for Kobe. So come back, and he is a lottery pick, Tim. I mean,
Yeah.
that dude has star potential. I look at it like remember when we were talking about Purdue and Jaden Ivey after his freshman year, and everyone was like, hey, he could go. He could be a guy in the draft right now. He came back, and he's a lottery pick. I'd see the same thing for Kobe coming back after this year. If he comes back next year, Kobe Bufkin is a lottery pick.
Here's the problem, that if Kobe asked me my advice, I'd say, well, first of all, go to the draft combine, check it out. Compete against the other guys. Let the NBA see you. Let them evaluate you. Learn how to go into the interviews and find out what your value is. The problem with following my advice is that you're kind of putting your program in a hostage situation because you don't know if he's coming back. And any good play, the Terrence Shannon of this year's class would say, yeah, I'd love to come. What's Kobe doing? And that's a long time to wait. And so I don't know how you manage that. It's going to be a big challenge.
It is. It is. All you can do is, and I talked to Phil about this actually. He said you give the guys all the information. You kind of put yourself in a position to not tell them necessarily what you think they should do. It's more so you provide them, this is what all the scouts from every team saying. This is where we see you. This is what we think you can do if you can come back. If you come back, and then you're there to support them whatever way they go, right? Because you
Mm-hmm.
don't. The last thing you want is for the kid to think that you're being selfish in your assessment of what they should do. So you kind of take a pass on weighing in. Well, you should go or you should stay. Give them the information and let the family make the decision, and then leave it to them to determine what's right. That's what I would appreciate if one of my kids are in that position, and that's the way I think Michigan's going to do it. And I hope it works out in a way that is most beneficial to Kobe first. I just happen to think that if this is a purely basketball consideration, a basketball stock consideration, I don't know what else he's looking at. It's all about basketball stock, Tim. I think coming back, he would be a dude next year. A dude.